Okay, now let me talk about homework. So this is a screenshot from a PDF file with the homework problems. This is for week 4. I know again some of this is in Danish, but let me just tell you what's going on. There are sort of 3 new innovations, and the most low-tech one, and maybe one of the most important ones, is that they have 10 questions that I've made myself, and they only have to do 6 of them. So they can choose, they get a choice about which 6 they want to do. And just giving people a choice is actually an amazingly motivating force, right? So if they have, if they're frustrated with a problem and they come to you, right, you can also say, well, you don't have to do that problem. There are other problems you can do, right? And this also allows me to write a few of these problems are really fairly tough, meant for the more adventurous students who might otherwise be bored, right? And I can make them tough because it's not an obligatory problem. The other thing here is that one of the things they have to do is they have to write a new problem that looks like one of the problems assigned last week. So this forces them to write a problem themselves, which you learn a lot more from than solving a problem that someone else made. And it forces them to think about the topics we covered last week so that they just don't get forgotten. And they have to put this up, this question up on PeerWise, and other students can then solve this problem. And let me get to PeerWise then. The answer key is given on PeerWise. So PeerWise is a free service. It's a web page where you make a login and you make a page for your class. And so you can see what this says is week 4, problem 3, week 4, problem 4A1, problem 4A2. So I've broken down the questions into sub-answers, right? So these are multiple part questions, and I use PeerWise here to guide the student through. This is how many people have answered so far. This is if they picked, most of them picked the right answer. And they can rate the question here. This is the student rating. Do they think this is hard or easy or medium? So I get a lot of feedback from this. So this is what it looks like. So instead of, they're presented with 4 possible answers, usually 4, and they know one of these is the correct answer. So if the answer they worked out doesn't match any of these, right, then they know they've made a mistake. If they've done it right, they'll clearly see one of these is the correct answer. Then they pick the answer, right, and then they're presented with this screen. So here the student picks C, and they're told that B is actually the right answer. And here they can see most of the students have actually picked B. And then after, so they worked through the problem, they've made their choice, and now they're given a full description of how the problem is solved. So they're given this immediately after they've made their choice, right? So it's not something they hand in and then have to wait a week to get the answer back, and then they can ask questions about it, right? So you get immediate feedback here, which is incredibly valuable. And they also get feedback from me, so not from a teaching assistant who may not have understood the problem, 100%, right? They get it from me, and they get it right away. Usually what I do, I solve all my problems in, my chemistry problems in a Maple software, which is a bit like Mathematica, and I simply just cut and paste from Maple and in here. So this is just an image. And this also teaches them how I use Maple, and it saves me a lot of time. I don't really have to type anything in again. But I could also make a video here, a screencast, where I show them how, step by step, how I solve it in Maple, or I could do this writing it down using my iPad and explain everything, and then they see a video instead of text here. But the main thing is that they get a detailed explanation immediately after the answer, and that really helps learning.